It was supposed to be the pinnacle of my life's work. The moment every parent dreams of, watching my only daughter walk down the aisle in a picture-perfect ceremony. But as I stood in the manicured gardens of that opulent Hamptons estate, phone in hand, staring at the screen that shattered my world, I felt the weight of 40 years of quiet sacrifices crumble into dust. There it was, my own face, captured just hours earlier in my rented tuxedo, overlaid with bold red letters screaming, "No entry, family only," posted by my daughter, Emily, for all her 200 followers to see. Neighbors, old friends, even distant relatives back in our modest suburb of Cleveland. She wasn't just embarrassed, she was erasing me from her new, polished life. And in that silent fury, without a single word of confrontation, I opened my banking app and began undoing everything I'd built for her. Let me take you back to where this heartbreak began. Because revenge like this doesn't erupt from nothing, it simmers in the shadows of betrayal, fed by years of unspoken pain. I'm Harold Thompson, 62 now, a retired mechanic from the auto plants in Ohio. 40 years wrenching under hoods, breathing in grease and exhaust, saving every overtime dollar for Emily's future. My wife, Margaret, was a school teacher, the steady heart of our home. We met at 23, married young, and had Emily 3 years later. She was our miracle, bright, ambitious, the kid who aced every test without breaking a sweat. Full ride to Yale, then an MBA from Wharton by 25. We gave her the world we never had. But Margaret always worried we'd spoiled her too much. She's forgetting her roots, Harry, she'd say. Cancer took Margaret 5 years ago, swift and merciless. Emily flew in from her fancy marketing job in Manhattan for the funeral, stayed 3 days, then jetted back to her high-rise life. I didn't blame her. She was building something big. Or so I told myself. 2 years after that, Emily called with excitement bubbling in her voice. "Dad, I've met someone amazing. His name's Jonathan Hargrove III. From one of those old-money Boston families. The Hargroves summered in the Hamptons, wintered in Aspen. The kind of folks who trace their lineage back to the Mayflower. Jonathan seemed decent at first, polite. Firm handshake. Called me sir. But there was that subtle glance around our cramped ranch-style house. The way his eyes skimmed over the faded couch and my toolbox in the corner. Emily started drifting after that. Visits home grew rare. And when she did come, she'd nitpick. "Dad, maybe try a nicer shirt for dinner?" And the living room could use a refresh. Little jabs that stung like paper cuts, accumulating over time. Then I met Clara. She's 58. A nurse at the same hospital where Margaret fought her battle. Widowed young from a stroke. Clara has this quiet strength, warm smile. Hands that have held too many through their last breaths. We started with coffee dates at the local diner, sharing stories of loss and the small joys left in life. She made me feel alive again. Like I wasn't just marking time until the end. When I told Emily about Clara, her tone iced over. "Dad, are you sure? It's only been 4 years since Mom." Don't rush. But it wasn't grief talking, it was judgment. Clara shopped at Target, drove a beat-up Subaru, laughed with her whole body. She was too real. Too much like me. For Emily's glossy new circle. Last winter, Emily announced the engagement. Jonathan's mother, Victoria Hargrove, demanded a family dinner in the city, a spot where the bread basket alone cost more than my monthly utilities. Victoria, 68, dripping in diamonds and disdain, grilled me like a suspect. "Tell me about your lineage, Harold. What did your father do?" I kept it honest. Dad was a factory worker. Mom a seamstress. I bootstrapped through trade school on loans and night shifts. "How commendable," she purred. But Emily's cheeks flushed crimson. Later, on the sidewalk, Emily gripped my arm. Dad, next time skip the blue-collar details. Jonathan's family values. Discretion in backgrounds. Discretion. Like my life was a stain to conceal. But I swallowed it. Because that's what dads do, we absorb the hits so our kids can shine. Wedding planning kicked off in January. Emily dreamed big, the exclusive Hamptons Club. 200 guests. Live band. Custom ice bar, the works. Dad, I know it's pricey, but it's once in a lifetime. The Hargroves are covering the rehearsal and honeymoon if we handle the main event, $95,000. It wiped out my nest egg. The one Margaret and I built through skipped vacations, home-cooked meals, and DIY repairs. I refinanced the house, sold Margaret's heirloom necklace, took side gigs fixing neighbors' cars at 62, added $10,000 for her lingering student loans, $28,000 squirreled away for their condo deposit as my surprise gift. Emily didn't know the half of it. Parents don't tally sacrifices like debts. We just give, hoping it teaches gratitude. But somewhere, I failed to instill that family isn't a prop, it's the foundation. 3 weeks out, Emily called about Clara. She's coming, right? Of course. Pause. Dad, Clara's great. But maybe seat her with your old work buddies? Front rows are for core family and the Hargroves interset. Warning 1. Then the tux she mailed me, designer. Not the one I'd picked at Men's Warehouse. For the photos. Dad. Timeless vibe. Warning 2. The seating chart arrived, Clara and I at table 14. Tucked in the corner by the kitchen staff. But I rationalized it, wedding jitters. Blending worlds. I ignored the gut twist. June 22nd dawned crisp and blue. Ideal for vows. Clara fussed over her simple Macy's dress, asking twice if it passed muster. You look stunning, I assured her. We drove the 2 hours in my aging Chevy truck. Clara suggested renting a sedan, but I brushed it off. It's us. Han, the club loomed like a fortress, sprawling lawns, ocean vistas. Valets eyeing my truck like roadkill. We'll park it out back. Sir. Inside. The Hargrove crowd milled tailored suits. Effortless poise. Conversations about yachts and galas. Clara whispered. We can duck out after toasts. But I held firm. We're here for Emily. I found her in the bridal suite. A whirlwind of silk and stylists. Dad. A quick hug. Mindful of her updo. Introductions to bridesmaids felt perfunctory. Where's Clara? Strolling the grounds. Emily pulled me aside. Photographers doing family shots at 2. Classic poses, bride with parents. Extended kin. I nodded. Then, Victoria wants them elegant. Like Vanity Fair spreads. Maybe Clara could man the guest book? Or tour the club, it's historic. The air thickened. You don't want her in the pictures. It's not personal. Dad. Just. Presentation for the Hargrove albums. Presentation. What would Mom say? Emily's eyes flickered. She'd want perfection. She'd want kindness. But I relented for peace. Clara stays for the reception. At our table. Thanks. Dad. Alone in the garden while Clara toured, I checked my phone. Boom, the story. My photo. Read no entry. 189 views already. Including folks from home who'd cheered Emily's every milestone. The humiliation burned slow. Then ignited. 40 years flashed, double shifts on holidays for extra pay. Patching the truck instead of buying new. Clipping coupons while Margaret sewed our clothes. We laughed it off as thrifty chic. When Emily hit Yale. I sold my vintage Harley, the one dream I clung to. Love her more, I told Margaret. Study abroad? Newspaper routes at dawn. MBA gap? Cashed my 401k early. Ate the penalties. Never mentioned it. Love isn't a ledger. But that post? It tallied every unspoken cost. Emily had traded roots for status, betting I'd stay silent. The Hargroves didn't admire strivers, they pitted them. Margaret saw it years ago. She's chasing shadows. Harry. I defended her. Now, the shadows consumed her. Phone buzzing. Clara. Where are you? Ceremony soon. Guests filed in. My truck hidden like me. I thought of Margaret. Her final whisper. Protect our girl. Protection sometimes means tough love. App open. Balance $118,542, mostly loans. Recent transfers. Venue $42,000. Catering $20,000. Photographer $7,500. Condo gift $28,000. All reversible per bank policy. Not revenge, reckoning. Emily needed to learn consequences sting. I dialed the club. Harold Thompson. Canceling venue payment. Sir. Guests are arriving. Reverse it. Catering next. Foods en route. Redirect it. Photographer. Setup's done. Pack up. Toughest. Bank for the deposit. Fraud reversal. Misrepresentation. Lies. Half-truths born of hurt. Ceremony music swelled. Hargroves paid for that. At least. I sat rear with Clara. Her hand steadying mine. Emily glowed. Vows echoing, for better or worse. Richer or poorer. Irony twisted like a knife. Post-ceremony. Chaos brewed. Event manager approached. Mr. Thompson. Payment issue. Handled. Emily's text flooded. Dad. Vendors leaving. What's happening? I pocketed the phone. She found me by the fountain. They'll ask you. Eyes wild. Dad. They're tearing it down. Actions have consequences. What? Your post. No entry for the man who funded this. Her face crumpled. It was a joke. Stress. Humiliation's no joke. Jonathan arrived. Confused. Sir. Nadia's hysterical. I showed him the story. Your wife did this. Shock registered. I didn't know. Ask why she hid me. Confrontations cascaded. Seating slights. Photo exclusions. Victoria's guidance on appropriate family. Jonathan turned on his mother. You pressured her to erase him? Victoria denied. Then deflected. Standards. Darling. But Jonathan stood firm. Apologize or leave. She stormed off. In my truck. Clara and I watched the fallout. Emily begged via text. Finally. A knock. Her. Tear-streaked. We talked raw. Why ashamed? To fit in. Dad. Not lose Jonathan. By losing yourself? Forgiveness came slow. But real. Months later. A backyard redo. Simple. Honest. They returned the deposit. Started a fund for working-class kids. Clara and I wed quietly. Emily by our side. Betrayal's price? Steep. But it forged something unbreakable. Silent revenge isn't glory, it's the ache of necessary rupture. The hope of mended bonds. What would you sacrifice to reclaim dignity?